Elena Bogashevskaya. One evening, after returning home after a hard day at work, I sat down at the computer, and such longing washed over me that I decided to read romantic love stories. I scored keywords for search in a search engine and ended up on this internet resource. And then my wife Olga returned from work, and she sees the picture, Sasha in tears, in front of her. I was just overwhelmed with emotions from the letters I read in the section, Sad Love Stories, and I could not hold back my tears. And I decided, I will dilute this sad picture of emotions with my love story. My acquaintance with Olga, as it may seem at first glance, was banal. We met in a chat on one of the. After a short correspondence for several days, I decided to get to know her in reality. You can imagine my emotions before the meeting, a sea of unrest, confusion. I almost did not know what to talk about with her. I even began to stutter. But nevertheless, I went to this meeting, which was scheduled for January 1st at 1500. Hey. My name is Olga. So that's what you are. I imagined you different. My future wife told me. Hey. I replied. What is really bad? Not like that, right? No. You just don't look like a 19-year-old. I was expecting to see some kind of goal. Well, I did, thank you very much. I replied and we laughed. Then everything happened according to gentlemanly etiquette. I took the girl to a nice cafeteria and we had a great lunch. After our lunch, we went to the park, or rather, I offered to go to my area, since there it was possible to take a walk in the park. And Olga readily agreed. During the walk, we got to know each other more and more, but since it was late, I went to see the girl home. Olga, standing in front of her door, said to me, Sash. Sorry, but we'd better not meet again. I had a good time. Thank you very much for the cafe. Everything was just wonderful. But, Olya, I said, what happened? Maybe I offended you? No. Just quite the opposite. I didn't have to go to this meeting because. I got it. Sorry, but you're not my type, yeah. How trite is that? No, Olya answered quietly. I just recently broke up with a guy. He caused me a lot of pain, and I just wanted to break up with someone. I see, and that someone turned out to be me. Right? Yes. I took a cigarette out of my pocket, lit it and laughed. What are you laughing at? You understand, I replied. Here is such a thing. After all, I'm essentially the same as you. And I came to this date to also unwind. A minute pause, silence, and the silence of the entrance was distributed by my and Olgine's laughter. We exchanged phone numbers and agreed to meet one of these days. Several months have passed. Olga and I met almost every day, walked in the parks, went to the cinema, in a word, had a good time. One fine day, I returned from work as angry as a dog. In exchange for a vacation, I received a summons to the military registration and enlistment office. The next day Olga came to me. Hello. And why are you so angry? You don't pick up the phone. You understand, I replied. In general, this is the case. They take me to the army. How? But I. And Olga threw herself on my neck. All in tears. Don't cry, Olenka. It's only for a year, especially since we're just friends. Not friends. How can you not understand? I love you. That's how I heard the first cherished words. We sat and talked for a long time, and I tried in every possible way to divert conversations from the topic of the agenda. By the end of April, I was scheduled to appear at the district military registration and enlistment office. And on April 25th, all my friends and relatives gathered to see me off. I heard a lot of flattering words addressed to me. It was the turn to say a word to Olga. She took the glass, stood up and whispered softly, barely holding back tears. Sashenka, dear. I'll wait for you. I didn't want to hear anything else. I realized that she is the only one. My long year of service has passed. Olenka waited for me from the army. About a year after my service. We just met. After a year we lived together, and for almost 2 years now we have been officially married. We have a little daughter Sofika and we are happy. And at the end of my story, I'm proud to say that my story can be added to the section. God forbid everyone to love like me. God forbid everyone to be loved as they love me. Read more at https://minikar.ru/help/raskazy-pro-lubov-is-realnoy-shizn-lubovnye-istory/ 1. Quote. He ran after me and scratched the asphalt with his torn-off sole. In 2000, when I met my future husband in the yard with a dog, I could not even think that this was my destiny. That it is this young and handsome young man who will write beautiful and tender letters of love to me. That in 5 years, on July 30th, 2005, we will have a wedding, with which we so dreamed of running away as soon as possible and being alone, and that, having run away, we will forget all the gifts in the dining room. That on February 22nd, 2007 I will give birth to my beloved son, whom my husband will be afraid to take in his arms from excitement on the very first day, and in his eyes I will see the first male, stingy tear. And on July 30th, 2010, as agreed on the day of the wedding with Alexei, we will get married in the Sretensky church. How could I then think that on the 7th of August 2012, we will experience the joy of the appearance of a long-awaited daughter together at a partner birth? I also never thought that for the sake of a loved one, for his sake, and then for joint interests, I would learn how to sew costumes, come up with interesting events and, together with Alyosha, organize and promote my club. That they will write about our family in the newspaper more than once, that we will become the most active family in the Yaroslavl region 2 times. And then we will win. And just take part in many competitions. And then, at the beginning, in 2000, a dachshund dog ran up to me, her name was Nyora, and caressed me and climbed into my arms so much that all her actions led to what we have today in 2015. Is our acquaintance romantic? I'll tell you that for me, yes. I still remember how he admitted that he likes me. I remember the day we learned to waltz with my beloved in the rain. I remember how we went to play computer clubs together to play Counter-Strike on the grid. I remember how we made up with Alyosha thanks to the fact that he ran after me and scratched the asphalt with his torn-off sole. That he came to my dacha unexpectedly, as I arranged for him an unforgettable birthday. Our whole life is a romance that has been going on for 15 years now. And I know that the romance of our relationship will continue to delight us and our family further. My love story began when I came to dance class. I saw him for the first time, and immediately realized that communication would not be easy. Something valuable, besides his talent, was hidden behind his inaccessibility, and this attracted me very much and did not give me peace of mind. As it turned out, he is looking for a performer to perform. He is a professional ballroom dancer. He is also a producer. From the first meeting, he made it clear that he highly appreciates art and avoids female attention. Warm-ups, stretching, aerobics for 2 hours did not give a chance to flirt with him. Only those who were really interested in dancing remained here. The lesson was easy for me, perhaps due to my state of love. To train with him, hand in hand, face to face, was a real torment for me. And I wasn't the only one who expected more from his delicacy. He leveled the brush of my wet hand. I felt through the whiteness of the checks the burning touch of his fingers when he'd set my position. Retreat was so possible. Any playful touch of his was so welcome to me. More and more of his virtues prompted to think of him as a man. The thought that someday he could become Oleg for me, and I will no longer call him by his patronymic, overtook me with indefatigable fantasies right here in the studio. Occasionally our eyes met in the mirrors. Then a sweet shock euphoria pierced my body. And then I was very afraid of making a mistake. Something else besides the sounds of music was felt in the space of the hall. It was the rhythm of perfect movements. And also the playful play of fluids that came to life here, in this hall. This could be silent, and I wanted more and more to discover that he was not indifferent to me. To find a miniature confirmation of this, but there was none. After a successful performance, Oleg Yurievich congratulated the girls, kissed everyone on the cheek. No one seemed to notice that he hadn't kissed me. But not me. For me, it was too obvious a manifestation of, "What, there are no flaws in my dance." So he singled me out from the crowd of others. But why is that? He knew. My wet hand? My timid look? When everyone was leaving the locker room, Oleg Yurievich called out to me with a request to stay for 30 seconds. No one doubted that I would stay for half a minute. Oleg Yurievich was sitting at the table and writing down something. The heart was torn from within. I was afraid to believe that he would hint to me about his feelings. I couldn't tell him about it myself. The chairs were very close, and he asked me to sit down. The beating of the heart was louder than the silence. He touched my shoulder. He asked me to dance with him in this huge gym. Dance and hugs were indistinguishable. And my love story did not end with a verbal confession. Author, Altea.